So I I have some PowerPoint stuff to share, but just to get it started, thank you guys for joining and being part of the Data Scholars program. I'm Nathan Black. I'm I guess for today it's the chief data scientist that changes from day to day depending on what role I need to be in. I'm one of the co-founders of QuantHub. So we uh, was working in data science, and we started realizing that just the need for training data scientists. But just to back up a little bit, how I got to where I am today. So my undergrad, where I went to college, it was in for music and music performance in the University of West Florida. So something very different from data science. Never imagined myself being in data science. And so I did my music program, taught music, guitar, bass, banjo for about 8 years, then moved over to Japan and started teaching English. So again, not data science. And I was teaching English to some corporate execs at some pretty large Japanese companies. Not sure how I ended up there, but I did, and through a few connections, I got a job at the University of Maryland in Japan. So they have the military contract, and they so that serving the military students over there. I became a student recruiter, and that was really my foray into data science. So the it it wasn't called data science at the time, for one. I didn't know I was doing data science, but what I started realizing is that there was all this data available. So I had lots of student data, um, specifically their degree plans. So students were on the base on campus, and they needed to take classes. The corporate office for the university would just randomly assign classes to your campus. I was a student recruiter. I cared about getting people enrolled and making my campus successful. And so I realized that I could actually match these student degree plans with the classes that needed to be offered, and then I can inform both the students. Here's the classes that you need to take. Here are the ones that are being offered. And then I started informing the headquarters, hey, quit throwing me random classes. Give me the classes that students actually need. Um, from there, started doing more with data, realizing that it can inform the decisions that we make. Started looking at student success rates and mapping their way through their degree plans. So for example, a lot of people thought, okay, if I take writing 101 and then I jump right into speech, but maybe I struggled a little bit with writing and I jump into speech. Speech is different, right? We're talking. So uh, I don't need to know all the writing stuff. There's a ton of writing in speech. And so there were just interventions that we would have of, hey, you might want to go take this lab class in writing first before jumping into speech so that you're more successful. I ended up running the Japan operations for the University of Maryland and got to scale out some of my data solutions. I had part of the perk of working for a lot of universities is getting your tuition paid for. So while I was there, I racked up quite a few degrees, and one of them was in data science. So the University of Maryland had one of the first named data science programs. So everyone else was calling it business analytics or something that is hard to market. But University of Maryland jumped in and said, we're calling it data science. And I went through that program. I reconnected with Josh, our CEO, QuantHub, and he was starting a consulting firm around econometrics. So looking at different indicators of growth in the economy. And really what it was is data science. So we pivoted, or I joined him, and we pivoted to not call it econometrics because that's hard to explain. Data science was the hype word, and so we became a data science consulting firm. The projects that we got to work on there, we were a boutique firm. We were working with a variety of different clients in different industries, and that got me a lot of exposure to a lot of different projects. So for example, Southern Company, Toshiba, Samsung. The one that people usually like me to talk about is Chick-fil-A. So I did quite a bit of work for Chick-fil-A. It was right when they were developing their app. I don't know how many of you have apps. All right. So a few. The Chick-fil-A app has the reward. So you order enough stuff, and they're going to give you. They used to call it a treat when I was working on it. It's now called a reward. And what one of the projects that I worked on was predicting what customers would like for their reward. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, let's look at your past purchase history, which we can tell through your app, and figure out some patterns, and then go, okay, do we, Corey always orders the chicken sandwich. Do we give a chicken sandwich, or do we do a frosted lemonade with that? And maybe we don't see a frosted lemonade, but if we give a frosted lemonade, would that be something that Corey would start ordering later? Chick-fil-A is a very different culture and does not think in a lot of the business terms that most people do. So it was less of hey, let's see if we can get people to spend more money. It was more, how can we bless people, which is pretty interesting to work in. So my role at the data science company was leading the data science team. As part of that, we were filling roles at different locations. So like what you guys are doing, you're interning, we were placing consultants, data science consultants at different locations. And we were a small team. And so we had to hire quickly, place people. We wanted great talent. People were paying decent money for data science, so that wasn't the issue. So we started, we were trying to move quickly, so we took some shortcuts. We said, okay, what are indicators that someone's a good data scientist? Okay, they went to a great school. So they went to Stanford for bioinformatics. They should be pretty good, right? Or they worked at Google for 5 years as a data engineer, data architect. They should know what they're doing. We found out that was not necessarily true. That those the people that resumes don't don't directly correlate to how well people perform. And so we developed these assessments to validate our candidates coming in, and started getting customers or clients asking us if they could use our assessments to hire for themselves. We figured there was a market opportunity for that. That's where QuantHub came into existence. So we spun off QuantHub as a hiring assessment platform. We were working with customers again, and they started saying, hey, is there a way that we can use your assessments to inform what our employees should be trained on? Like, where are their skills gaps, and how do we tie that in? And so we shifted into the training space. We still have the hiring side of things, but we're focused on training. As all of you are aware, we started out in corporate, but in the last few years or so have pivoted to or expanded it to the K-12 higher ed market as well. Just seeing the need for, we were working with corporate clients and realized that the education system was not fully preparing students to work in the workforce. So many do not have opportunities like you guys have had, and so they're like statistics. What is what is that? So that was the motivation for that. What I mainly focus on right now is in the innovation space. So that's a lot of playing around with AI. So most of my team are AIs, and it's also just going around to the various departments and finding out what their biggest problems are, and seeing if we can either build internal tools or figure out some way to solve it to decrease the hours they're spending, or just to do things in a better way. So today, what I wanted to go over, like the topic of the meeting is tips on prompt engineering. I realize, especially since Corey spoke up and said what she's doing with ChatGPT, that there's a mix of levels of working with tools like ChatGPT and Gemini and whatnot. So I really would love this to be a more of a discussion than a presentation or lecture. That's difficult, I know, on Zoom, but we're gonna try. So I want everyone to commit to at least one question, and then I'd love more than that as well. Just speak up. So before we dive into the prompt engineering, any questions, thoughts, warnings?
Do you think how you taught people in like Japan and in the Maryland, right?
Yeah,
Do you think that influenced how you set up QuantHub and how the lessons are?
that is a great that's a great question. Uh, very it influenced heavily. So the when I moved to Japan, I was scrambling to learn Japanese. So I spent 7 years in Japan. The first place I moved to, no one spoke English, and I moved over with barely konnichiwa in my vocabulary. So the I was looking for any kind of apps or books or anything. So I spent a lot of time learning. And when I started QuantHub, I realized that, hey, the kind of an assessment first approach, a language approach of putting you in a situation, motivating that, hey, I'm at a train station. I need to get somewhere. How do I do it? So you're being assessed all the time. I realize that, that's the same as being on the job. You're going to face challenges. And what do you do first? At the time, you go to Google. Now you go to your favorite LLM tool, and you just pick up the information that way. So we we tried to frame the way we did QuantHub to facilitate that type of thing. So sometimes I've had even some of our own employees come and say, "Hey, we've got a problem. Students are cheating. They're going on and Googling this stuff and finding the answers." I was like, that's actually what we're designed for. Is what we want to do though, is there's a lot of stuff out there. Even on the LLMs, as good as they're getting, they're not always correct. So we wanted to have credible sources and point people to curated answers to the questions they're getting, rather than them having to go to the Google wilderness, I guess, and dig through everything that could be true or junk or advertisements or whatever. So, good question. Who else? All right. I'm gonna share while you guys are thinking. All right, can everyone see my screen? Okay. So again, like I said, this is going to be more of a discussion, and we will hopefully jump to where you actually are in your prompt engineering journey, and not waste much time teaching you things you've already done. So first off, I wanted to go over some use cases. How are you guys using ChatGPT, or what Meta AI or Gemini, Claude? How are you using that right now?
Sometimes when I'm writing essays and the tone of a sentence doesn't sound like correct, I ask it to like rewrite it in a certain tone.
In a what tone?
In a certain tone, whether it's like professional, serious, or like anything like that.
That's good. So you get it to write your essays? Kidding.
Only the sentences.
Okay.
I write all my essays, I swear.
Okay, that's good. Um,
Sometimes whenever I don't know how, like, whenever I'm like learning my programming, I sometimes in like the certain language I'm using, I won't know how to achieve something. So I'll ask ChatGPT to write that part for me, and then I'll see how it used it, and then I'll be like, oh, that's how you do it, and then go off based off that and keep going.
that's good.
Yeah, I kind of use it sometimes to quiz me on certain topics, like in school, if I'm having difficulty understanding something, kind of like almost test me on it to kind of help me, I guess,
Yeah,
retain some of the information more.
that's that's really good. Is does anyone use it at in your internship?
Sometimes whenever I have to draft an email, or I'll give ChatGPT the rough basis of like what the email needs to be about, and I'll get it to write it partly for me, and then obviously I'll go in and modify how I need to. But it helps me write my like professional emails.
That's good. That's good. Anyone else?
I use it for oh,
Sorry, go ahead, Noah.
I use it for like if I'm looking up a topic and I need something more specific, I try to like go into more details with ChatGPT. Like if I can't
Okay.
find a website that like specifically says this.
Yep. Did you mute on purpose or you can?
Yeah, so like just
Okay.
when if it specifically says like anything that I'm looking for.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and I was just going to add, I know Brielle is on the line, but Brielle and Kenya have both been helping the QuantHub team with creating learning resources and our blog articles too, using AI. So
That's great. Is anyone locked down at where you're at? The company you're working with, the organization, do they say no, you absolutely cannot use these tools?
At my job, quite the opposite. Like anytime, like whenever she'll ask me to do something, sometimes she'll be like, you can always just get ChatGPT to do it. And I'm like, all right. So
Right.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I know there's mixed feelings of that, like especially if you're working with any kind of data, proprietary data, people are scared that you're gonna leak it to the.
And Noah, you're with Reliant Technologies. They're a defense contractor. So I'm kind of surprised to hear that they're, just using ChatGPT or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to quickly go through some of the use cases that I use it for, and some sample prompts. So I use it for brainstorming. So kind of again in the spirit of collaboration. Have you guys played Mad Libs? Anyone played Mad Libs? It's where you fill in the verb or the noun, whatever in a story and come up with it. So I've left my prompts generic, and I want you guys to help me fill in the prompt here. So this one is you're an expert in topic. Help me brainstorm ideas for some sort of task. Once you have the ideas, organize them into a concept map. What is the topic? Throw out a topic.
Food.
Dashboards.
No.
Cats.
What was it? Cats?
Cats.
Cats.
The cats like the animals. Cats. Okay. And then what are you brainstorming for?
To design a cat tree.
To design a cat what?
Cat tree or like something for them to climb on.
Okay. Mm. Well, let's see what it comes up with. Anyway, this is pretty lightweight. That's hideaway boxes. But it does. This is something where a lot of times if I'm going in and again if I'm hitting some kind of problem that like okay, I've been asked to design a new item type, then going in and saying, hey, you're an expert at designing assessments. What like give me ideas on different item types. So maybe not as lucrative as building a new cat tree, but another use case is in research. Feel free to jump in and ask questions about any of these prompts. What topic are we researching? So this one's you are a skilled librarian. Help me find and summarize credible and up-to-date resources on some type of topic. Research the web to find the resources. Once you have found the resources, give me a list of 10 questions that they answer along with the answers. Cite your answers and provide links. Format your output in Markdown. I usually start a new conversation because Chat GPT, any of these like to bleed over. And so that you'll start to get cat things in your whatever else we're researching. All right, what are we researching today? Something other than cat trees.
Dashboards.
Dashboards, like business dashboards. Let's see what it comes up with. So this one is telling it, so research the web. Sometimes if you just say research or help me find, it will just answer. But if you specifically tell it, then it'll give you the links. So then that returns, you know, a set of questions. So this is a good way to summarize the results that you get back. And that seems to have paused. It is formatting. When I'm doing research, I like to get it to cite and provide links. That way I can check, you know, yeah, did it really say that? A few things to point out really quick. Giving your prompt a role is something pretty powerful. Try some different ones and see how it changes it. If I you know, said that you are the beast and asked it to do research, it may come up with some different things. So, all right, we're gonna keep moving. Jump in with thoughts, questions. These are just some of the ways that I use it. If it spurs you to think of what ways that you use it or ways that tips that you have for me to improve, and people would get more out of it this session for you sharing your tips, then jump in. I've already talked a little bit on writing. I won't spend too much on this one, but the thing that I want to point out here is following up your prompt and turning it into a conversation. So getting it to, after it generates, actually asking you what you want it to do next. All right, and here's where things get fun. Is code writing. Have you guys done anything with code writing on these tools?
For sure.
Awesome. What language do you usually write in, or what apps?
Java normally.
Okay, that's good. I do not write Java. I code mainly in Python. But this is relevant to non-programmers as well, because with something as easy as this, we're gonna see how it does. So you're a seasoned programmer building a Streamlit app. Streamlit, if you're not familiar with it, is it's a Python native web app framework. So basically it lets you build applications without writing all the HTML and JavaScript and everything. You can just write your Python and hit deploy, which I'll show you in a second. So write the code for an app that allows users to upload and analyze a data set with summary statistics and visualizations. Let's see what it does. So this is where I believe that coding is moving to, is to where we will talk to computers in natural language, and they will write things for us, or maybe just in the back end do it and give us the output. The challenge with that, and we've already had multiple use cases where companies have gone full into natural language programming, then they hit an issue of some kind of bug, and no one knows where the bug is, and the AI can't fix it because it created the bug. So there is still a lot of value in understanding what it's doing. So what I'm going to do here, this is VS Code. It's just an editor for code. I'm going to create a new file and call it app. And I'm going to paste. That's exactly what it gave me. And I've got a terminal over here somewhere. Nope. There it is. All right. We're going to see live coding is always fun. So it gave me the data set analyzer. I get to go to, let's upload Moneyball. You guys talked about Moneyball yesterday, right?
I think Moneyball has come up now in like multiple meetings that we've had.
That's good. I wanted to keep the theme going, but this isn't specific to Moneyball. So I didn't prepare anything else besides just dropping code in, and I knew how to run the Streamlit app, which is just writing Streamlit run app.py, and so it gives me the data set overview, summary statistics, a histogram, box plot, a pair plot. It did not like the correlation heat map. So what I'll typically do is grab this with the error name, go back to ChatGPT and go, you messed up. So no explaining. And it's usually helpful to figure out, okay, yeah, it was looking for non-numeric columns, and you can't do correlation, that type of correlation on that. And so I'll pop this back in. And get rid of all that. And go refresh my app. Upload Moneyball again. Now my pair plot is gone. Nope, still running. It's a little guy. Thoughts, questions? Oh, there's my correlation heat map. Looks pretty messy, but
This may be a little off topic, but since ChatGPT can write all this code for you, do you think that we have too many software engineers already, and that going into computer science or something in college would be a bad idea?
so good question. There's multiple parts to that. I think we still will need software engineers, the mindset of a software engineer. So people who can solve problems with computers, that's not going away, right? They're even with these great tools, you're going to need people who know a bit about what's going on in the back end until the complete back end changes, and then it will change. What I've thought for a while is going into pure computer science, pure mathematics, anything where it's like, hey, I'm going to be just a computer scientist. This was the same with data science as well. Saw it with hiring data scientists. If they went into a pure data science program, they were less valuable usually to me than someone who studied a domain. Like that, if they studied business and then they brought on those skills. And so if you are a computer scientist, if you're going into computer science, that's good. Just add on something else, like a computer science in music. And then you understand the domain of what you're working on in energy production. So then you can jump into a solving real problems. And it's in my mind going, this is just my own opinion, maybe not that of QuantHub, I don't know, is that going for any pure study or field like that, unless you're planning on teaching it, is kind of like going and studying hammers. If you're wanting to go into construction, it's like, hey, I'm really good at hammers. Like, okay, for what? So if you go in and you're actually going to build a house or build cabinets, or those are different things that are more valuable to know how to do. Of course, you're going to have to know how to use a hammer, but does that answer your question?
Yes, but I have a follow-up question
Okay.
to that. All right, so would you recommend if someone wanted to go into computer science, then they do like a double major, like let's say like math and computer science, or like finance and computer science, and then, or would you prefer, or would it be better that they do a bachelor's degree in computer science and then get like a MBA after?
Yeah, caveat that I'm not an advisor, but I think the end goal is what's important to me. It's if you went just for computer science and that's all you did, then find a way to fill in the domain side of things. Don't get so wrapped up in your computer science community that you just speak that language and then you go talk to business people, or you go talk to, sports like they were talking about yesterday, and you go, I don't understand your problem at all. Pick it up as a hobby, pick it up as another major degree. Yeah, any way you do it, just pick up a domain along with what you're doing. It's very helpful. All right, any other questions before I move on? All right, and analyzing data. Any of you use ChatGPT or any of these to analyze data? So this is something that I do pretty regularly. Someone sends me a file. Let's say it's a Spotify data set. And my typical thing before was to pull it into a Jupyter notebook in Python, read it in, summarize it, try to figure out, okay, based off of the column names or whatever, what's this showing? Now I do that with. So this one is, well, we'll go. You are a data analyst, analyst specializing in exploratory data analysis. Profile this data set. Profile means give me what's in it. Let me know what it contains and what analytical questions it can answer. So drop that in. ChatGPT now has this fun little interactive window. Takes a little bit. But if someone is asking, hey, can you go analyze this data set, find some insights in it. You figure out what the columns are, what they mean, some questions that can be answered. Great, an interesting chart. The something to watch out for here is this is all about asking good questions. I didn't ask any good questions so far. So that's why I had it give me some good questions. And then you want to act like an investigator. You want to interrogate the data and go, okay, you told me that there was an insight here. Is that true? Like, give me the evidence. Show me where in the data set it's giving that insight. So that another way that I analyze a data set is, so let's say someone presents a chart or sends you a PowerPoint and it has a chart. We'll say this chart. You can do this with any image if you haven't already. So it has the ability. All this was is just a PNG. So if you took a screenshot and so it's this line chart. They go, okay. Before I spend a lot of time on it, or maybe this is a domain I'm not familiar with, can I pull some key insights out of it? All right, thoughts, questions? I'm moving fairly quickly because there's a lot more we can cover, but if you have questions, stop me.
I'm wondering what you think about this issue that I ran into while I was working with my GPT. So I would give it probably too much data, but a 17-page PDF to read. And it would either pull inaccurate information from the web, or it would give the non-needed info from the sheet instead of what I'm asking it for, even if I specify what I want it to pull.
Yep.
How would you better that prompt?
That is a great question. I've run into that a good number of times. Let's you guys know that you can create images. We can jump back to some of these, create data sets. Let's jump to, where is it at? The chunks. Yeah, so this isn't exactly what you were talking about, but you can take the same type of approach. So what I ran into here was I needed to create a long document. And by the time I got done, it had lost it. So ChatGPT, any of these that have compute in the background, they're spinning up a little sandbox environment for you. And if it crashes, all your work's gone. And it'll just say error analyzing. And so the approach that I took was this. So I'm providing it the goal is that we're going to build it one section at a time. And so taking things in chunks. So I'm giving it a heading. It's supposed to write a blurb. If I approve, then it saves that in a Word document for me to download. So now I've got my work saved. And we'll see if it does it. And then the next time I do this, it'll build on to that same Word document. Well, let's check that it's actually doing that. So yeah, it put that in, and then the next time it'll build on the next one. So this isn't your question at all. That was the closest example I had to your question. You can do the same thing where you read in and you can tell it, all right, read in one page at a time, or one section at a time. Yeah. All right, give me an outline of this document. Now for section so and so, grab that page and answer this question. So you're thinking about it. A lot of people think that this whole document thing is magic. You got to think like you're talking to in your maybe one of your siblings or something, or an intern that's not as capable as all of you. So how would you explain step by step how to do this if it doesn't have that capability?
That would
Does
have
that help?
probably sped up my process on my last project a lot faster because I'm able to work with a private GPT that has the create and configure section. So I just went and create and told it, please only use what you find. And it had to write a big chunk of like code and paragraphs that messed up my instructions
Right.
entirely.
Yeah. Yep. And then it starts to lose, it'll drift, especially if you're working on a project for a while in the same thread. And so there are tricks there as well, getting it to repeat its instructions. So again, pretend that it's a 13-year-old who would rather be doing something, playing video games, than doing what you ask them to do, and they're going to slowly veer off towards the video game section. It's like, nope, every time you come back, remind me what I told you to do. And yeah, it helps to keep that focus the whole time.
Okay, thank you.
So let me jump through these tips and tricks. So I think you guys, you all already know that you can create images in. I haven't done a lot with images, so I don't have a lot of tips to share. The creating synthetic data is pretty interesting. May be hard to think of a use case for you, but for example, if I say create a synthetic data set with the columns case ID, the customer ID, customer complaint, and resolution. So it's going to come up with a whole data set of things that look like real data. And then you can use that to build other tools or other apps, or mock up a presentation or some like a dashboard. So can be very helpful. One of the things on that so we talked about like writing essays or writing materials. One hack is to get it to interview you. So I won't go through. So was it Lily? I think you had mentioned doing something similar of quiz me on this. That's the same type of approach. Is I want it to use my thoughts. but I don't want to do all the writing, right? I don't want to plagiarize, and I don't want to just, have the average of it of the internet. Still want it to be my viewpoint, and so getting it to interview, and then this whole pattern of asking you one question at a time and waiting. So usually I have to tell it to wait or it'll give me like 10 questions in a row. And then once you've gathered enough, so this is telling it, hey, wait till a certain threshold, and then you write the outline for the article. So now I've broken up something into a set of tasks, but it's all in a single conversation. So thoughts, questions?
I have more or less a comment. I don't know if anybody has mentioned this earlier because my Zoom cut out a little bit during the middle. You can make a custom GPT to where you can tailor it to your needs. Like say if you needed something for coding, then you can make one for coding or something like that. And you can actually like go in and revise it, update it as you need. If it's doing something wrong, then you can go in, update it, and yeah, do all that to where it's yeah.
Yeah, that's the great point. And the title of this workshop was around GPTs. One thing I wasn't sure about is who all had access to I think ChatGPT is building GPTs is a paid service. So I didn't want to assume that everyone knew that. If you do have it, then you just hop over to Explore GPTs and hit create. And just like Preston said, you'll put in your instructions. It'll give you a preview of how that interacts, and then you go update it. Another reason why I didn't focus on that is because all of these things will work in your GPTs. So if you have access to GPTs, go put these types of instructions in and watch it do magic. So focusing on improvement is a big deal. I don't know how many times I get asked, hey, we're wanting to send out a survey to find out who's now interested in becoming a data scientist, and they'll ask some not so great. The survey design is really hard, right? And so this whole idea of getting, let's jump on here. Getting it to grade your output or grade some kind of output has been very helpful for me, because it can show you where in your document. So this is just for surveys. You can put whatever in there. We do this actually for when we use an AI approach to help us design items. There are questions for the platform, and we'll get it to grade different parts of the question. And if it says, oh, hey, it's a score of 30 out of 100, probably need to rewrite that one. So this is a way to turn that the qualitative, so you're working with text, into numbers that you can work with. So
One thing you can also do with the grade feature is if you're writing like an essay for school and you've already written it, if your teacher gave you a rubric, you can upload the rubric and the essay, and it will go by that rubric and grade it for you.
That's awesome. I like that one. So we've already talked about how to deal with the documents and how it likes to hallucinate, right? So I think most of you are familiar with, you just uploading documents and then asking it questions. That is in the AI world, that's called grounding. So it's making sure, hey, when you answer this, answer based off of these documents, not based off of the average of the internet. This one's pretty interesting, I think. So when you have a problem that is easier to show than to tell, you can just give a bunch of examples. So I just throw in examples of, all right, I want to know when I'm building an app that suggests which emojis to give. So I just want you to, when I give you an input, you're going to output 5 suggestions. You don't see any of those instructions in here, right? Like I'm not telling it, and I'm just saying, okay, what's for lunch? And it outputs. So it understands the instructions by example. This is extremely powerful because it will tend to follow examples more than instructions anyway. So use examples. I think we are about out of time.
We are. There was one question in the chat on if,
good.
and I think it
Sorry,
was
I'm not
answered,
seeing the
but
chat.
somebody wondered if you could upload an Excel spreadsheet to ChatGPT and it would analyze it.
Yeah, so that's I uploaded a CSV, but you can upload an Excel spreadsheet as well. There are some limitations to it, and the so feel free to drop off if you need to go. Kelsey, tell me to stop if you need to. But this is a common thing of, okay, I've got a QuantHub article. I want you to scrape all the images from this site. And I don't know what it's doing now. Yeah, so it tried, looked like it tried. That was the first time I've seen it try. Usually it tells me the instructions for how to do it. So they're usually, if you hit those things, don't just stop and get frustrated. Try to figure out a workaround. Usually I find that almost anything has a script backend. So Excel has macros, Word has macros, like the Visual Basic. I use Python, and so write the code to scrape these. So now I have something where any URL I now have a tool I can throw that in. I don't need to get ChatGPT to do it for me. So good question there. So I know we're 1 minute over, but I do work at QuantHub, so, and you guys are part of a QuantHub program. So feel free to reach out to me at any point, and I'd be happy to help with any of the specific problems that you do have.
Okay, and can you potentially share your slides so I can let everybody have those?
Sure.
Awesome. All right,
Some of them
guys.
may not make sense without me saying stuff, but sure.
We know where to find you.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'll upload the video.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Nathan, and thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
All right. Have a good
Thank
afternoon.
See you.
Thank you.